what it actually means. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Let us be precise about this, because the word ignore gets misread constantly. Ignoring people does not mean becoming cold. It does not mean building a wall around yourself or pretending criticism does not exist. What it actually means is far more active than that. It means making a deliberate, repeated, sometimes difficult choice about where your attention lands each day. Attention is not infinite. Neuroscience has been clear on this for decades. Every time your brain processes a social threat, a criticism, a comparison, a dismissal, it pulls resources away from creative and analytical thinking. Your brain is not good at multitasking focus and fear simultaneously. So when someone's opinion about your pace or your choices or your potential takes up residence in your head, it is not sitting quietly in a corner. It is consuming energy you needed for something else. The average person generates somewhere between 50,000 and 70,000 thoughts per day. Research on attention suggests that a significant portion of those thoughts in anxious or self-conscious people are spent managing other people's perceptions of them. That is a staggering amount of cognitive capacity directed at people who are not building your life with you. Ignore the means stop paying that rent. Now here is the practical part, because this is not just philosophy. Your environment shapes your thinking, whether you consciously engage with it or not. There is a well-documented phenomenon in social psychology called emotional contagion. It describes how people unconsciously absorb the emotional tone of those around them, not because they are weak, because they are neurologically wired for social attunement. It is a survival feature that worked brilliantly in small tribal communities and works against you when the people in your environment operate from fear, scarcity, or settled resignation. Choosing to limit your exposure to that quietly, without drama, without a speech, is not arrogance. It is hygiene. The same way you would not choose to breathe in a room full of smoke every day, simply out of loyalty to the room. Restructure your environment. Unfollow accounts that make you feel like you are always behind. Spend less time in conversations that drain rather than build. Not with anger, not with a big announcement, just less. What you are protecting is something specific and irreplaceable, your belief in yourself, before external evidence has arrived to confirm it. That early belief, fragile, pre-result, still unproven, is the seed of everything. Guard it accordingly. If you're done letting other people's noise live in your head, drop this right now. My peace is my power. Number 3, outgrow them, the loneliness nobody talks about. Marcus Aurelius also wrote in Meditations, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." Here's the part of the growth conversation that almost nobody has honestly. When you genuinely commit to becoming a different version of yourself, not just reading about it, not just posting quotes about it, but actually doing the work, you change. And the change is not cosmetic. It goes into your values, your standards, your sense of what time is worth, your tolerance for certain conversations. It goes deep. And when you go deep, some relationships cannot follow you there. This is not dramatic. That is actually the hardest part. It doesn't happen in a single explosive moment. It happens slowly. It's a Saturday night where the old group chat feels hollow. It's sitting at a familiar table and realizing the conversation has not moved in 2 years. It's laughing at a joke you used to find funny and feeling nothing. It's the quiet realization that you've been shrinking yourself to fit a space you've already outgrown. What comes next is guilt. Almost always you start to wonder if you're becoming arrogant, if wanting more makes you disloyal, if growing means you are somehow abandoning the people who knew you before. That guilt is worth sitting with, not because it is accurate, but because it is telling you something real. It is telling you that you actually cared about those connections. People who never cared do not feel guilty about leaving. The guilt is evidence of love. But here's what the guilt almost never tells you, honestly. Shrinking back does not save those relationships. They have already changed. The change is a done deal. It just produces a version of you that is operating below your own standards, frustrated, restless, performing a version of yourself that no longer fits. That version of you is harder to be around, not easier. The sacrifice does not produce the outcome it promises. Abraham Maslow spent the later years of his research studying what he called self-actualizing people, individuals genuinely living at the edge of their potential. One consistent pattern he found was that they became highly selective of their social world. Not closed off, not superior, just precise. They had deep, genuine connections with a small number of people and very little interest in maintaining surface-level relationships that required them to be less than they were. He called this psychological freedom, not isolation, freedom. The loneliness that comes during a growth period is real. It's also a transitional state, not a permanent condition. You are not losing your people. You are moving toward people who exist at a frequency you haven't reached yet. The loneliness is the distance between who you were and who you are becoming. Walk through it. The other side has people in it. Number 4, outwork them. The truth about discipline they won't show you. Will Durant wrote in The Story of Philosophy in 1926, summarizing Aristotle, "We are what we repeatedly do."